good.
Is there any public comment today? Okay.
Hey,
State your name, please.
Jim, Laudato. So, just here to follow up on the correspondence I gave your office all last week, and again on Sunday. I just wanted to make, I'm trying to secure a meeting with you to talk about the funding for the wastewater treatment plant in Berkshire Heights. We talked about it last time, and there's been some other correspondence that I know you've read, but I haven't gotten any response. And I know that Mr. Spitaleri received the correspondence, but I haven't gotten any feedback from that. And I sent an editorial that I was going to submit to the local paper so you could have it in advance, and I still didn't get a response, but I'd like to read that editorial right now.
Go ahead.
It's titled Worth It. The Jones County Commissioners have passed unanimously Resolution 22-020 on February 24, 2022, which assesses a tax on residents of Berkshire Heights subdivision in the amount of $28,000 per household to shoulder the cost of the wastewater treatment plant in Chardon Township. I understand the sewer plant has value to our home and is safer for everyone. I don't even have a problem with the county sending me a bill for increased services, taxes to help make our community better. However, in this case, I have an issue with the lack of stewardship.
Go ahead, Jim.
Go ahead. I'm listening to you.
Are you?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
thank you.
go ahead.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Great, I will. The county commissioners, well, however, in this case, I have an issue with the lack of stewardship and lack of care on this project, which led to a $54,000 plus burden to my household unsolicited by me. Did you hear that? 54,000?
Listening.
Thank you. The county commissioners and county administrator, Jerry Morgan, have secured $18 million of federal money recently with no plans to appropriate it under the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA. Currently, they hold $9 million that was received in August of 2021 and are due another $9 million in August of 2022. The use of the funds has some restrictions like capital improvement, sewer systems, and broadband, right? The residents were notified of the ARPA money in a public meeting by the county auditor, Charles Walder, on March 9, 2022, and was confirmed by the county administrator after the meeting. The wastewater treatment plant has been a 9-year project. True?
Yes.
Here is a breakdown of the funding. Do you know the funding? Do you know the funding?
I'm listening.
Do you know the funding? I'm
Are you
asking a
telling me?
question.
Are you
I'm asking the question. Do you know
I'm
the
listening
funding-
to you.
Do you know where the funding came from? Do you know the cost of the project? How much?
I'm listening.
Did you approve resolution 22-020?
I am listening to you.
I'm asking a question.
I'm listening to you.
Why are you listening to me when I ask a question?
Well, I'm.
Do you know what the
you're
how much
talking-
the project cost?
The entire project?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 5.2 million.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
How much was granted in grants?
About 500,000.
500,000.
Yeah.
10%.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're shouldering the 4.5. Right?
Well, about 3.4 actually,
How is that?
because there's water resources put in about, how much is it, Jerry? About
1.4
As a grant?
1.4.
As a grant.
as taking on part of that responsibility, yes.
Who's
for
paying back that
additional-
money?
All water resources customers.
Right. So here, a loan from Department of Water Resources, 1.4, divided by 113, that's 12 grand.
It's not a loan, it's a cost of doing business.
The cost of doing business is, the cost of the project is buried into the cost of doing business. It's part, you can't tell me that it cost me costs me $133 every other month to flush my toilet.
No,
It does
there's a
not.
portion of that that goes
Portion of that goes
paying
to the
for it.
project,
Correct.
so I'm paying it back.
Not
It's not-
1.4 million.
How much of it? Half?
Well, there's about $4 per bill that goes into the capital improvements project.
Well, how much is the total? How much am I kicking? I know I'm kicking in 28 grand plus interest.
Around, let's see if I do the math correctly, that's around, let's see.
I'll let you work on that. I come up with 48,000. Plus another 5,000 to tie in, minimum. And another $300 as a kicker for the application. That's $54,196. I understand the cost of projects, however, this seems a little high, don't you think? You don't need to be a CPA like me to see zero return on this investment. Who would place a $54,000 plus septic system in a 1 acre lot? Honestly. My major shortcoming is that I believe that for 9 years, the county and Chardon Township was trying to help find funding. That's my problem. Does anyone in the county, township, or Department of Water Resources know Congressman Dave Joyce?
Yes.
According to his website and press release, he seems to have the ability to secure funds for wastewater treatment plants, such as the one in Chagrin Falls for $3.5 million and $800,000 for Jogga County to make necessary improvements and repairs to the McFarland water treatment plant to meet increased environmental protection regulations. On his website.
Those appropriations just became available to do again last year.
It's difficult for me to understand why Jerry Morgan, the county commissioners, and the Chardon Township will not help us find funding for this project that was unsolicited by us. This is a public health issue. Are you in charge of the public health?
Public health is in charge of the.
You are in charge of the public health, am I wrong?
The health district is
No.
in charge of public health.
Are you oversee the health? Oh,
No.
no. Okay, so you don't, mental health, how's that? Does that fit? Of the 75 funds that you administer, does public health fit anywhere? Nowhere.
It's not under a hiring authority. There's a 5-person board.
But you benefit from septic, but you benefit from the wastewater treatment plant.
The water resources.
And that's under your jurisdiction. True?
Yes, yes.
All right. It completely astonishes me that the commissioner, in a commissioners meeting on March 22nd, the county administrator is looking into whether they can appropriate any of the $18 million ARPA money to help lift the burden of $54,196 per household. They requested the funds in April of 2021. They passed the resolution 220-0 in February 22. I believe at a minimum, they should have considered this option before they passed the resolution.
As stated before, the ARPA funds require us to follow federal procurement requirements. The federal procurement requirements were not used on this
And that fit
project.
with the Aquila project.
Well, the Aquila project hasn't started yet, so when
But
we
it
go out
still
to bid,
fit.
we
But
can.
you already appropriated money for the Aquila project.
No,
No,
Really?
no,
Correct.
It's on your website.
no.
no.
It's on your
It says
website.
funding can be coming from that.
Did I produce a picture of the funding
I
that
saw
said
it.
2021 ARPA funding? I went to Steve.
It hasn't been
No,
appropriated yet.
no
Then why'd
money's
you put it on the
been-
website?
No
Put it on the
money's been-
website as
It said it
a
was
funding
funded.
source.
What then, okay, so correct my
And the
my
request has
misunderstanding. When
been
you say
made.
project was funded by, and it says OW whatever, and then it says 2021 ARPA money, what does that mean to anybody looking at that? What does that mean to you?
Right, well, I can tell you, none of the money's been appropriated
Why
yet.
did you put it as a funding source?
I don't know.
Because they made the request of the commissioners to use that.
You must
funding
have had
for
a
the
pretty
project.
good idea it was gonna get funded, otherwise you wouldn't have promoted it that way. I went to Steve after the meeting, after my meeting on Wednesday, and he said he would change the website, and he did. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thanks for the explanation. But I can't help but think that there's some ARPA money being requested for wastewater treatment plants.
Well, there is.
And I
Yeah,
understand,
there is.
I understand the predicament you're in. I understand the predicament you're in. If you fund this wastewater treatment plant for the Berkshire Heights State, you're gonna get a heck of a lot of other people coming down your throat, looking for money.
Not necessarily. Not
Okay.
necessarily. you know.
All right, well, hold that thought.
Yeah.
But
Hold that thought.
there is the issue with going forward, the next one that's ordered by the EPA in this county, those residents are gonna wanna pay for also.
And I think you should have an obligation to help them out. Why wouldn't you? It's like me building a building, you come in, running the operation, never paying rent, and then I get to leave the building and you keep the profit.
The need for the sewer comes from the property owners failing septic systems, not the county's failing septic systems.
Okay. Got it. Public health issue.
Caused by property owners failing septic systems.
All of us.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Hold that thought. I'd like to remind all of us that we're all taxpayers and sinners, and from time to time, good people, like our elected officials, neighbors, and family members, do things out of fear to protect their own self-interest. This is one of those times. We're just looking for the truth, right, Mr. DeVore?
Correct.
Good. We're concerned over either losing our homes or being devalued, and they are concerned over setting precedent, losing positions to some other political power, or simply have an axe to grind. It's never the wrong time to do the right thing. And we're never going to get ahead trying to get even.
There's no axe to grind, I can tell you that. And, you know, I mean, seriously. So.
I have a hard time understanding that you're sitting on 30 million of unrestricted money, and it's been 9 years, and you couldn't put away $500,000 to help us out. Even if you didn't want to make the effort to go find a grant, you couldn't be like, you know what? Let me go help these people out. I can put out of $30 million they're sitting on. Listen, I read all the financial statements. There's 353 pages, Frank. 353 pages. It's from the auditor from 2020. I read it.
$30 million
Yeah, 30 million.
for of the taxpayers' dollars,
Unrestricted.
unrestricted.
Meaning you could do whatever you want with it.
Mhm.
Everything else is all tucked away in the envelopes. Everything's all accounted for
And taking-
perfectly.
So you're proposing taking other people's tax dollars and putting it into the system?
You're already taking other people's tax dollars and giving it to everybody else. Why not?
Not out of our general fund? Is that what you're
Yeah,
proposing?
I am.
Okay.
You're benefiting from the system. I don't get to take the sewer pipe with me.
Mhm.
You know, you're going to make money forever. You borrow money all day long. You have $68 million available to borrow. You borrowed all the money to put up the $30 million building, right?
Mhm.
Why do you have to borrow from us?
Yeah.
Why do you have to borrow from us to benefit your system?
That's not what's happening.
That you're not?
No.
You're creating a bill, send it to us, we're paying you, and then we're going to pay you on top just to use the system.
Mhm.
I don't get it.
Well, I mean, here's where we're at. It's still being reviewed by our prosecutor's office. As soon as we get a clarification and an opinion from him, I mean, I don't think you've heard either one of us say no to anything.
I don't
have
think
you?
I heard anything from you. You
Yeah,
don't
but-
answer any emails,
but-
and you don't answer any phone calls.
We,
How
we
do you
have-
run a business like that?
We-
Does anybody run a business here like that?